Hey, it's Debbie Potts, and I'm doing a continuation of metabolic health, how to improve your future you. As I'm putting on a seminar in Solana Beach about metabolism, testing and not guessing, if you're healthy from the inside out, looking at canoeing metabolism testing, looking at me screen, as a mitochondria test, as well as other functional lab tests we can do as an organic acids test, correlate the information with your blood chemistry and a Dutch hormone test, and all of that as we do as FDN practitioners. We're detectives. We're looking at what's going on from the inside and out and putting a protocol together based on what we research. So part of what I wanted to do in this three-part series of sharing my presentation with you is if you are curious as myself of how do things work, I always want to understand the why, the mechanism of action. So this short little video, I have a client in 20 minutes, so I will be wrapping this up because I have to get to my client. Now, why do mitochondria matter? So mitochondria, as you can see this image on the right, play a key role in almost every critical physiological function. Regulate calorie burn, regulate the immune response, participate in the stress response, regulate stress levels, and more you can see over on the side. Now, we want to look at how well are our mitochondria aging, because they need to produce energy and help us thrive as we age and keep all of our functions in our body working. So when I say the focus of my podcast is to be fit and healthy from the inside out as we age at a cellular level, when we go a little bit deeper, what part of the cell matters? The mitochondria. So how do you know what's going on with your mitochondria? We did a podcast with Dr. Patel on the me screen. I just did my test and sent it in last week. So I'll do a video on my results, and I'm a little scared to share because I know there's something going on with my mitochondria based on my challenge for years to run fast again. So how do you know if your mitochondria are under stress or they're declining? You may feel tired, sluggish, wired but tired. You struggle to lose weight despite doing everything right. Remember, it's not just one thing, it's multiple things. Because I can say that for myself, but I know my testosterone I just got done, and I'll do a different video sharing my lab results. But my T3, the active form of thyroid for me, is low. My estrogen is super low. My progesterone is low. My DHEA is low. And as I said, testosterone. So we have to look at all of it. We don't treat the lab results. We treat the whole person. That's what an FDN practitioner does, and why we are so unique and needed to help people, because so many other practitioners, naturopath doctors, just treat the lab results. So when we look at, is it all because my mitochondria declining, is just part of the puzzle, one piece of the puzzle. So if you have brain fog, sleep issues, slow recovery, that can be part of mitochondria. You notice signs of early aging and burnout. So when I started to get my adrenal exhaustion happened in March 2013. I know a specific date when it happened, but it wasn't, of course, just that day it happened. The light switched. It was just more, that was my wake-up call. Something's wrong with me. So in this seminar that I'm putting together, I'm helping understand what's going on inside of your body, how to use data, not guesswork, to guide your workouts, your food, your lifestyle, and support your mitochondrial metabolism today so we can be our best self in the future. So why do the mitochondria matter for your future self, for the future you? Your mitochondria, as you know already, are creating energy, ATP. So they're the tiny power plants, tons of them in every cell. So listen to Dr. Patel that he talked about all the mitochondria we have. It's amazing. And they create energy to move, think, recover, and stay healthy. So if we have mitochondria dysfunction, we can have all these different issues going on. When we are thriving, our mitochondria probably are healthy. We have steady energy. We burn fat more efficiently. Our brain feels more clear and focused. We recover faster from our workout sessions, and we are slowing down our cellular aging process. Now, how does the Pinoy metabolism test tell us any information related to your mitochondria? Well, testing your VO2 max or your VO2 peak reflects your mitochondria density and how well you're using oxygen. And we've talked about this in different videos, the definition of how dense your cells are, how many mitochondria are in there. Then we also talk about max fat, your peak fat max, and your crossover point. So the bottom of zone 2 is your peak fat max when I do your test. The top of your zone 2 is going to be that point where your fat is increasing and the carbohydrates are sorry, I'm saying that wrong. Your carbohydrates are increasing and the fat goes down. So we have a point, but it's not just one number. It's kind of a little bit of a range. This is a clue towards how well your mitochondria oxidize fat. So your zone 1 and zone 2, you're burning fat. And if we see what heart rate you're burning the most fat, your peak fat burn, well, we can get an idea of how healthy your mitochondria are. Also, we test metabolic efficiency. A low score can mean you have poor mitochondria performance. So how well are you burning fat at rest and at various intensities? Now, excessive carbon dioxide or early carb reliance suggests mitochondrial stress or inflexibility. So in this presentation, this slideshow I'm sharing is not the one I'm doing in my seminar because it is really long. It's 100 slides, so I have to do it in little pieces. But I talk later about the Lumen device, how you can use that day to day. And you can get a big discount code from me if you're interested on learning on your metabolic flexibility. Am I burning fat or carbohydrates? And the Lumen score 1 to 5, 1 is fat burning, 5 is carbohydrates, and similar to what we test on Pinoy metabolism testing, which is more in depth and more accurate than the Lumen, which is a good day-to-day tool. Tells us how well I burn fat or carbohydrates based on the respiratory exchange ratio, RER. So how do we connect and apply the data together? So Pinoy metabolism testing is one source of data I'll go over. The oats test is organic acids test. And there's also the new Me Screen test that you can get $100 off with my discount code. And then there's ideas, feedback we get from those tests or clues on how we need to best support your mitochondria to improve your future self. So improving how you age at a cellular level. Because athletes that might be similar to myself, we're aging. We might be fit and healthy on the outside, but I guarantee you, the way you train and fuel and live your life can be damaging your mitochondria because we're increasing oxidative stress and we have less antioxidant production. So Pinoy metabolism testing will give us clues. Do we have a low peak fat max? Do you switch to using carbohydrates early on in your exercise? Do you have a low VO2 max for your height, weight, age, gender? Do you have poor metabolic flexibility or metabolic efficiency? And do you have low resting metabolic rate? Is your metabolism lower or slower than it should be for your age, height, and weight and gender? If we did some functional lab testing as organic acids and the new Me Screen, this will give us clue towards poor fatty acid oxidation, which means higher marker on the oats test of adipate or sucrate. And that gives us clues to, I need more carnitine, which is why I started eating red meat. I was low L-carnitine. So instead of taking a capsule of it, I just actually started eating red meat, grass-fed, that has carnitine in it. That helps support beta oxidation, which is fat metabolism. And we need to adjust our macronutrients, perhaps. Maybe adjust your carbohydrates from nature, timing them around your harder workouts. Now, if you have low VO2 max on Pinoy and then your mito score on the Me Screen is low and the Krebs intermediates that are on the organic acids test, that's going to give us clue to, all right, we need to build up your peak fat max. As Brad Kern's Mark Sisson's book, You're Born to Walk, maybe you need to do more just walking or easy bike rides or some type of exercise that keeps you around your peak fat max. Now, my problem with all that, you're just guessing unless you get this test of what your peak fat max is. So we're not using math, we're using science, using data to figure out what you should do. Now we can maybe get clues to, hey, you might need benefit from CoQ10, which I take from Paleo Valley's organ capsules, is a great source of real food source of CoQ10, and I get my B vitamins and more. Now creatine, I think we all are probably taking now, after all the research on your brain health, bone health, and muscle health, taking 5, even 10 grams a day, some people are saying. And then magnesium and red light therapy can all help. So we get some ideas based on testing and putting all the data together and your intake form. What do you need to improve? For metabolic efficiency, you have high oxidative stress markers. Do we need more antioxidants? Do you need more precursors to glutathione, NAC? Do you need more antioxidants as vitamin C? We need more support of the detox pathways. And then lastly, if your metabolism is slow and you're not very efficient using oxygen, we might need to focus on creating new mitochondria. And that would be working around your peak fat max, biogenesis, and doing some intervals, PQQ, NAD, strength training, and sauna can all improve mitochondria, get more of them. So with the PNOE test itself, again, the poor mitochondrial function, accelerated aging, your mitochondria are the engines of every cell. So when they slow down, so do you. So fixing your metabolism now is key to be better you in the future. So preventing cognitive decline, neurodegeneration, chronic diseases, helps with your weight loss, your energy, your fat metabolism, living longer and stronger with better performance. So we want to look at how well is my metabolism and mitochondria health to improve my future self. So next steps, we can do PNOE testing. If you work with me, we can do the me screen and organic acids test. I can order through Rupa Health as a practitioner, and we can look at what is your customized protocol based on all this data we can collect. Your fuel, how you should train, what support you need with supplements, and lifestyle habits as red light therapy, sauna, stress reduction, sleep optimization schedule. So PNOE's more advanced way of finding your VO2 max, not using a mathematical math calculations. How are you burning fat? Are you stuck in carb burning? When is your body switching fuels, and are you metabolically flexible? When I finish the test at your peak VO2, sometimes I let the test continue on after you recover and see how well you switch back to burning fat after we reach your peak. True heart zones are going to be created. We're doing 5 training zones, figure out where your peak fat max is, where your crossover point, where's the breathing and the fuel switching as we increase the intensity. And then how do we need to improve your mitochondria biogenesis? So lastly, identifying, testing where your areas of opportunity are, where your limiters. So if you're lower VO2, we need to improve your oxygen utilization. If you have low peak fat max and early crossover, we need to improve your fat metabolism. And you have low resting metabolic rate, your metabolic system is suppressed, depressed, and under fueling might be an issue, or chronic stress can be an issue. So we need to look at your other blood chemistry panel and other labs. So targeting exercise, figuring out what your zone 2 is, what should you do for HIIT or sprint to activate AMPK and PGC1 alpha, which helps stimulate new mitochondria biogenesis. Strength training can also help with mitochondrial repair and muscle-driven biogenesis. So exercise is one part of the equation to boost metabolic or mitochondria biogenesis. Now, nutrition can help as well. We'll talk about a veer trim in the seminar, but protein-rich meals support repair our muscles, obviously. Smart carbs around workouts to improve your HIIT and sit training and help with recovery post-workout, that you're using carbohydrates for fuel. So we identify which workouts would you benefit from having some smart carbs coming from nature. Supporting micronutrients as B's, magnesium, carnitine, alpha lipoic acid will help for mitochondria as well as for fat oxidation. And CoQ10, PQQ, NAD are all precursors to help with your mitochondria, creatine, glutathione support. And then, of course, sleep, red light sauna, we talked about, and parasympathetic recovery, so heart rate variability training, vagus nerve. And then the outcome, hopefully, is increased energy, fat burning, recovery, resiliency. So going through research, top evidence-based protocols to boost mitochondrial biogenesis, figuring out your zone two. Helps mitochondria biogenesis by increased AMPK and calcium signaling in a faster glycogen depleted state. Then there's high intensity interval training, 4 to 6 intervals of 30 seconds all out sprints, 3 to 4 active recovery in between. So 3 to 4 minutes. This is what people do it wrong. 30 seconds all out, then it's 3 to 4 minutes active recovery down in zone one, 4 to 6 times. The HIIT training, when done right, I guarantee 99% of people do not do this recovery in zone one, but this activates PGC1 alpha and this increases mitochondria content and function. Number 3, sprint interval training, mitochondria stress for maximal adaptation. So example would be 3 to 4 sets of 20-second all out with proper recovery, 2 to 4 minutes in zone 1. So this is zone 5, this is zone 1. One time a week, not every day, for advanced, more time-constrained insulin sensitivity. Lots of benefits if you do it right and fuel correctly. And the next one, resistance training. Excuse me, research mitochondrial density in the fast twitch muscle fibers. This improves metabolic resilience. So compound lifts, research is done in squats, deadlifts, presses, 3 to 4 sets, 6 to 12 reps per movement, 2 to 3 times a week. And this helps improve mitochondrial protein expression, especially aging adults. So that's 2017 and 18. So guidelines to improve mitochondrial biogenesis for men and women will go into. Why are you not doing well? Hello, Bill.
I can't see it. Not sure where you're.
I'm sitting and just writing a workout
Uh,
out on the pad paper. A notebook.
okay.
What did you do without golf today?
Um, so Linda today, and then next couple phone calls, and now you.
So what did Linda do for you?
She's acupuncture.
Yeah.
Stuff me.
I know, but what
She's
you
part of her. I saw her Monday, Melissa Wednesday, and her day. So
wow.
getting the body back to.
Are you focusing on a certain area today? You saw her?
No, never.
So
It's
she
working, general tune-up.
that's cupping and acupuncture?
Yep.
What did Melissa work on yesterday?
Kind of the same thing. Melissa worked on my hamstring. Linda worked on my knee on Monday. Melissa worked on my hamstring yesterday. So we did a little more hamstring work today. So
Were they tight?
trying to figure stuff out.
Yeah. So they found they must be tight. They're working on them.
Yeah, they're tired. Trying to look to see maybe it's not a knee issue. Maybe could be a hamstring issue.
Yeah.
It's actually walking different. Trying to change my gait a little so
Yeah.
I don't put so much pressure on the inside lines. So
Okay. Good to
just
know.
general, just trying to do a bunch of stuff before I go see the doc. Just more stuff I can talk to Portugal about. So that's
So
good.
hamstring and alignment. Okay, so let's start on the floor, do a little warm up and some side planks. So on the mat, first sequence, and then sidearm rotator cuff. So grab a 3 or 5 pound weight to be on the floor. Yep. I got a brand new phone last week, or said that, and guess what I did today?
But
Cracked it. Stupid phone. Can't believe it. I was so mad. I called Verizon. It's already going across my screen. It didn't even do anything. I don't even know. I put it on. I was leaving. I put it on top of the washing machine. I was grabbing something and it tipped over. Like it cracks from that. How did it crack so easily? I didn't drop it on the floor. All right, on the side or on your back, and do windshield wipers first. And we'll get my time. Yeah, I just literally set it up last Tuesday.
He's got a very good job at cracking iPhones.
I know.
That.
So I bought Apple Care.
It's quite a talent you have. Did you have a case for?
Yeah, it's in a case. It has a plastic thing on.
It's still cracked.
Yeah.
Sit man, I drop my phone periodically and it doesn't crack.
I don't know. I have bad luck. All right, so warm up your back first and stretch out your arms.
Actually, agree with you. You agree with that. Sit there.
Let me get my hairband. It's hot right now. So windshield wipers. Yep. All right, side to side first. Open up your arms out to the side if you have rams. Shoulders stretched better, I find. Letting them. Can't get them on the front floor, the left one. Kettlebells in the way.
Yeah.
Let go, a little bit mobility in there, and then we'll do planks. Might want to do some bridging too since you're there. Roll it up, roll it down a few times. Roll it right. Roll. Shoulders still tight.
What?
Do the shoulders, chest feel tighter today?
Not really. Why?
Well, it looks like it's uncomfortable while on the floor.
It's okay, mate.
Okay. So roll a couple times, then flip over to side planks. That, start here and there'll be rotator cuff. Hit it. Line up the shoulders, hips, knees. Hold where it feels no pain in your shoulder. All right, switch that up a notch. All right, ready? Elbow, shoulder, stack it up, tack it up, and hit it. Your guys come today or is just Tuesday?
Tuesday. It's gonna be quiet today.
Mine came yesterday and they usually come at 11 or 12 and they came at 3, 2 o'clock, 3. And I was on a call and it's like, don't you see me sitting here? My blower so loud. Green. All right, and then grab your little the side rotator cuff weight. And then rest on your elbow, not fall asleep, so don't stay here too long. You know what happens beginning of the workout, and I put you on the floor. So just come on down. And then you'll go 15 to 20 here. Think about the range of motion, you feel it just back the shoulder blade. Loosen the form, flip around. Find out. More. You feel it back the shoulder blade back range.
I mean, I should.
All right, then I distracted here. iPhone messages come on your watch.
Yeah.
All right, and then we'll go on your back, feet up in there, reverse curls when you finish. We'll let the hammies get a little stretch, feet up in the air. $30 seconds. Hamstrings, stretch. Think about pulling the knees to the hips. You can keep your knees a little bit. That feels better. And upper body stabilized, not lifting. Jack.
Kill it. No, kill it for a sec.
Done. Was cramping up.
We'll start over.
What cramped up?
A lot of work done the last 3 days, 4 days, so
Well, let's not ruin that though. So what did
that's
that
fine.
feel
That's good.
uncomfortable?
It's fine. Slide it still a little bit.
So that gripped your hip flexors?
Front part.
That's your hip flexors, so you're not using, so bend your knees more and get more your hip flexors, you're doing too much work then. So think about really pulling the hip bone to the rib and getting your lower abs, not your hip flexors, gripping, grabbing. Almost have to contract your abs before you tilt up. All right, and maybe bridging might be good right there. Stretch your hip flexors.
Your follow-up with function.
I haven't done function yet. I just had leftover.
Good function.
No, well, I'm going to next time I have blood work. I had leftovers from this Wild Health program I did. My testosterone is bottom of the barrel. Estrogen, progesterone, every hormone. I looked at because LabCorp, my report had my last couple of years ago, I had testosterone and sure dropped. It's like 0.6 or something.
That's good. You've been on all this wellness stuff and all these podcasts and all these supplements and everything. In your quest to do better, you're going backwards. That doesn't sound good.
It's called hormones. As perimenopause females my age are hormone stuff.
Oh, that's what you're in the peri stage.
Yeah, 53 now.
That's right.
Well, actually, they say perimenopause starts in your 40s, 10 years before. But your hormones start to decrease.
Yeah, it's not fun.
I'm like, well, I'm fine, but I just want some testosterone injections for a little bit, see what happens. All right, so give me some side planks. A lot of people say, as you talk with Brad, you don't want to be it all the time. You can take precursors to improve it, but if you have too much testosterone, especially for men, that can aromatize to estrogen. So you can end up with higher estrogen. So you have to be careful.
All about.
Yeah, well, I'm sure all the medications too. When he was younger.
It's more than stuff he took when he was in the gym.
Okay, so you're going up when you're
I
ready.
have a feeling he took some really bad.
To grow muscles, or what was the point?
Weightlifting, it's the stuff the weightlifters take.
Yeah, but when it's supposed to help your testosterone, not decrease it.
No, they got a lot of steroids and the shit that it's bad stuff.
All right, lift.
It's just kind of my guess.
Your intuition.
Yep.
We'll try to line up your shoulders so that's not too much weight on your shoulder traps. Hold yourself on your side more and then pull forward. 3, 2, 1. All right, flip it.
He's doing some type of mushroom therapy now. Got off his meds and he's doing some mushroom. He takes these drops and I don't know, but supposedly it feels great. So.
Well, Lion's Made, that's what Neil's company's Layered Superfoods all about mushroom adaptogens. Lion's Made, Rishi.
This stuff I don't think approved by any type.
Oh, all right, hit it. Cordyceps for endurance, but we're not mushrooms. Oh, they're probably taking more shrooms for mental health. Like you smoke. Isn't it the psilocybin or someone just sent me a website showing Encinitas. So I wanted this hemp mat Which another thing to add is $2,000 for this hemp mat. The tables are too expensive, $30,000, but you can get your home version. It's hemp. One more thing to get. All right. So we did each side. Now we got rotator cuff again. 30, about 15 reps. Brad go to Mexico with you guys?
Yeah.
Right. So you saw him recently. So he didn't come to Palm Desert like he does much, did he? This year?
He didn't come once this year.
Wow.
He's actually going down with friends. He's leaving next Saturday.
Staying at your place?
Yeah.
So you didn't pack it up yet?
Yeah.
Good. And flip. Finish that and go back to core in your back. You need bridging first.
Your husband ever cook Wagyu for you?
Well, you just, yeah. Costco had the Wagyu ground beef last time, so we've been having that lately.
I'm talking about Wagyu steak.
I know, but isn't it kind of similar? Wagyu ground beef?
No, it's one's like hamburger and one's a steak.
It's not a ground up steak, it's hamburger.
So it's really thin.
No, he has not, I don't think.
I was just wondering if he had a good way to cook it or not. So,
He has a really long way to cook steak. It takes forever, but I can get you the recipe. It's you cook it, then it sits, and then it's like 3-part, but it's really good.
I like the way I cook my steaks.
So he puts it in the oven at 250 for one time that it sits, and then he sears it, or other way around. When he sears it, then
I sear it for 2 minutes each side, throw it in the oven at 400, and cook it for 12 minutes, and I'm done.
he does that, but it's different. It's slower at 250 at 40 minutes.
Season the shit out of it.
It just takes a lot. He's been marinating in salt because we're watching this Italian cooking videos, and they put a ton of salt in it and let it sit.
Yeah, that's the standard thing. Yeah, you put a bunch of salt and then you let it sit out.
And the reverse curls. So roll up.
Yep.
And then we gotta get moving. So
That just takes too long to cook it.
I know, that's my thing. It takes forever. I like the 5-minute meal. But today last 2 days we ate chicken, which is cool.
Chicken's so bad. I had chicken the other night. It's like, why do I eat chicken?
I know. It's boring.
She's like crap. It doesn't taste like crap. It's just white.
If it's plain, it tastes like crap. If you put red sauce on it or something, spice it up, turmeric
You
seasoning.
gotta put sauce on it. 'Cause I see shit out of it. It didn't change it at all.
Yeah.
You gotta put the sauce on it.
Okay, so then let's.
Montgomery and barbecue sauce.
Okay, so let's stretch your hips up and let's go over to turn around and get into the cable machine. So now we're going to go to weights, mid row,
I get up and down like Gloria did.
Gloria, rest in peace. Her husband passed away. She died, I think, the next year. She didn't live much longer.
That's pretty typical.
Yeah. All right, so mid row. So turn the camera around. We'll stay over here the rest of the workout. So we've got mid row. Five. All right, 5, 6, 7. And you start 5 plates, and 6 and 7. So we're doing 8 reps.
You guys ever do anything with your yard up there by you? Aren't you gonna do something with it?
Our yard. Well, what we want to do, we need a few $100,000 to do.
That's a
So
lot of money.
we need to rebuild this and then the pergola right there. So Neil has all these ideas, but the sad thing is, can't do that stuff unless you borrow in the house or you wait for your parents' inheritance.
No. Either which is very attractive.
No, I know, it just sounds bad. Okay, so first thing we're standing up in a row, midway 1 foot back. You get 5 pounds on there. What weight's that?
5.5.
5.5. It's 5.5, starting Kate. I told Neil his dad's going to live to 100. If he goes early, it's because the car driving his car. It's a little better.
That's not good.
No, and that was
How
a
old is he?
few 92.
Yeah, you should give him driving.
Yeah, but then he'll probably pass away after that. So like, you lose that.
Tired driving.
Yeah, they're on top of the hill in Medford.
I'm sure there's drivers, there's Uber.
Yeah,
Give him an Uber.
yeah. He's stereotype Jewish. He does not spend money on anything. Put it all away. Save it for your kids.
Yes.
That's his tradition. So rowing on each side, and then we're going chest, switching this up. So now I'll go chest press on the bench, these two together. And then let's start with 15 pounds. 3 weights, we do it there. And we're right. So it's seated, we're going to chest row. Right, so chest press at 15s.
What rep count are we at?
8 reps. We did 10, 8, 6.
Maybe 17 and a half.
Yeah,
Because I got 17 and a half for maybe we'll
Okay.
start there
that works
for
great.
8 reps.
Perfect. Times 8. All right, let's do that. Then we'll do rope and triceps. Tuesday. So I had an interesting conversation with that Joburg jerky people today.
Ooh,
I told you about that bit long jerky that was my new find for protein.
yeah.
Those packets I sent you, the bit they called Joburg. He says that's not steak jerky, it's really air dried steak slices, is really what it is.
I never,
Or you didn't order it or you didn't try it? Order it.
I never got it for you.
Oh, I didn't send you the link. They just gave me a.
The link? Okay. No, I haven't ordered that.
So it's steak slices, and 1 pack is 37 grams of protein, is equal to a 6-ounce steak. Okay,
Good.
so now you're going to triceps. We did Tuesday, 5 pounds facing out. So try 8 reps, starting with that weight.
Safe.
All right, so core, set 5 weight, 5 plates. All right, and then we're doing planks on the bench. So 30 seconds on the bench. And then we go back to chest. Or no, mid row is next. Okay, so 1 set intermission here. Reset. Good body. So you having Wagyu steak tonight?
I think so. Time is out.
Who's busy? Is she busier in Bellevue or La Quinta?
Thanks.
Krista's busy. Someone's doing something.
She was out Monday night. She's out tonight. No, she's out Tuesday night, tonight. And tonight.
Just tennis people?
No, I'm seeing friends. Catching up.
Yeah. All right, so 1 arm row on the cable. So we're going back to beginning. So row, I did 5.5. So if you do 6 plates or leave it there, or go easier this week, or go to 6, 8 times. Get feet to the back first, and then row. You could ride the bike tonight, then after workout. 5 minutes, 10 minutes.
Okay.
Start something new season, new program. All right.
Riding that bike, I'm sure would hurt the shit out of
Me.
whatever's going on with my knee.
So grab, if you need to stretch, you can hang up the rafters after that lap. Oh. That always feels good, and then we'll go to chest. So get your stretching in between. All right, this good opportunity to try out those cups tonight then. So you could put it on your hands.
Today. Double cup twice in a day.
Well, did she do it on your hammies? Well, it's hard to put on your hamstrings. So you could put it above your quad and crap. Just try it out.
She did. It is.
Chest
I
press.
probably had 50, well, not 50, that's an exaggeration. I probably had 35 cups on me today.
35? Jeez, that's time consuming. All right, so back to the bench. Chest press.
Shoulders back, sides, hamstrings, the IT bands, the calves. I was cupped everywhere today.
Oops. All right, chest press. You feel relaxed when you get out?
Oh, it hurts like hell. She cuts.
No, when you're done, when you leave.
It's a relief.
You don't feel just relaxed, sedated after having
No.
that.
No, yeah,
Afterwards, not during. All right, so 8
No.
chest presses.
definitely not. Normally I'm sore. Like tomorrow morning, when I wake up, I'll be more sore than normal because of the work that was done.
All right, chest for 8 reps.
I don't think we'll have to, they're really good friends, so they're both, they were in Egypt together, plus a couple other gals for 3 weeks, but
Oh, yeah.
they,
So chest
yeah,
lie down and
fine.
stretch.
Ain't no spot.
Yeah.
There's no spot
All
going to them.
right, so stretch your chest out before you sit up. So lie down and open your arms up. I saw in Egypt, because didn't they just Their trip wasn't it seeing their new remains or the discovery? It was on TV. Some show I was watching. Today
I
show.
don't know. They saw pyramids, they saw tombs, they spent a week on the Nile on a boat. Wow.
So open, make sure your goalposts more stretching arm circles. Good shots now.
Only thing they ate was only food that got served for 14 days was chicken and rice. And it was so freaking tired of chicken and rice.
Yeah. What's that Neil was saying?
Breakfast she said was relatively normal. But lunch and dinner every single day, some form of chicken and rice.
Ugh. All right, so now we're going to triceps on the overhead
row. That's what I say. Melissa, of course, Melissa's great. She loved it. She thought it was phenomenal. Lynn's a little more like me. Seen one pyramid, seen them all. Well,
I have your voice in my head because you kind of got me thinking that way about churches. And I saw we're watching videos on YouTube about Italy.
Churches.
I know, but now I look at churches and go, I don't need to.
Have you been to Notre Dame?
Yeah, no. We did it good when the fire was there. Just happened when we were there.
Right. It's a big church. The Basilica, any big church. If you've been to any of them, they're all the same.
Well, let's start looking at Luca where we're staying a week. Okay, so triceps overhead. Churches. We saw videos of these churches. And hey, it looks amazing, but they all look the same.
I think, Kathy, we'll go to one church if it's famous somewhere.
Yeah.
But when we were on the Amalfi Coast, there were churches everywhere. We never went to one church.
I think the Greek ones will look differently. They're not the Roman.
They're all the churches and churches.
All right, so one set here, then we go back to planks. Hey, did you see they got a Pope today?
Yeah, they got a new Pope American guy.
Yeah, I saw that come across my iPad.
He's not really American, but he's American, born in America. He's an American citizen, but he's also a Peruvian citizen.
I didn't read.
And he gave his speech half in Spanish and half in Italy. None of it was in English.
To prove that he's Italian, European, not American.
He speaks like six languages.
No, I don't know. I would love that. I would envy people. Okay, timer for 30 seconds.
Why?
I just think it's such a talent. So
yeah, it is.
To have that brain to switch languages, my buddy Carlos is from Spain, speaks taking Japanese, which is totally different. It speaks English, obviously. Yeah. Okay, so planks. But to speak especially Spanish, French, Italian, all kind of similar qualities to it. And then there's other languages, so Japanese or German. I don't know how people do. 10 seconds. All right, so let's go back one more set. Rows on the cables, one big step back. So they think your knee problems, your hamstrings pulling, the knee, you're pulled to the side more.
They just haven't noticed it, and Melissa worked on me yesterday for quite a while. I had more range of motion and it felt better. And obviously this morning it's relatively back to where it was, but it led me to believe there's a little bit of swelling in there. But it led me to believe that potentially it might not all be a knee structural issue. It may be kind of how the hamstring and the quad. So I'll talk to Porcho about it and see. I'll get his opinion on it.
Okay, so go back to one arm row.
We'll have to see what the deal is.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense. I mean, that's what always is most people. It's just something pulling. Like my current injuries, it's all related, but right now it's the gastroc head behind the knee that's causing the knee not to work, and my pelvis muscles not connecting to the lower leg. So it's always something else. It's not the knee is worn out necessarily. It's something else is pulling on it, making it work harder.
I'm not just gotta see.
All right, so row. And then tricep overhead. And we'll do the rope differently next round. We row. Rotating. Finish this up and then we'll move that down midway for the next circuit. All right, so this one here, and then we'll lower it down and change the weight for later. So right, then we go back to planks.
About bench.
Oh, wait, yeah. So I'm working on the next weekend. So chest press. Okay, we'll go chest one more time, 17s. We can do more triceps in there if you want. You turn your palms in on the chest press to get a little different angle. Leave those down and then use them again. So let's go. Hey, that's right. Now we have planks. We did everything else 3 times. Okay, so planks on the bench. Let's think about belly button engaged. Belly button to the hips in that space. Drawn in. Eight seconds. All right. Then our last little bit, we're doing row in the middle. So take the rope and pull it down to the middle. So you can do to your chest with the rope row for back shoulder blade squeezes. Weight, we had 7 plates to 8. So we can start with 7. We'll do 8 reps there. Squeeze between the shoulder blades to focus. You have to be careful which foot's forward. That doesn't hurt your knee when you're standing that way. Wait.
Depends on the positioning.
Okay, and then let's go to, let's just leave that. We'll just stick with this. So go to tricep overhead with that 17. We'll just do 5 reps.
Um, 17, shouldn't I use the 15?
Well, I was just doing 5 reps for that. But if you grab the 15, you can do 8.
Do 5, but if I hurt my elbow.
That was bicep curl.
Huh?
That was bicep curl.
Okay.
Feel it out first. No pain? Just those two. We're going back to the ropes.
Really? So I can get some heat down there. If you're saying it's been too cold.
Right now.
Well, that's good.
Warm, and then it goes to 90 Saturday, but then it goes down to 60 on Monday. It's even 70s at the beach this weekend, 78, 75 or something, but I'll have to look again because it always changes.
It's over 100 in the desert this weekend.
I know my sister and Adam go tonight. He hates the hot weather. He's going to be grumpy pants. He's very northwestern, pale white person that hates hot. He loves rainy northwest. So, all right.
You like rain.
He loves the northwest. I know. They thought about moving because he loves my mom and wanted to move there, Palm Desert, just so they could be there with my mom, help her. And he sacrificed his hate of the heat, desert air.
I don't know. That's a good idea.
I think they moved on.
From that one?
Yeah. So they got their new house is big enough that my mom can live there, was their newest plan. But it was boring as heck for my mom to be where they live. Woodland, Washington.
Okay. Sure. That's idea.
What?
Your mom to hook up with Neil's dad, and then it solves everybody's problem.
I know, I did think of that one time. If they weren't total
bored on the top of a freaking hill. She'd be bored at what down the sticks in Vancouver.
Yeah.
But you put them together, they wouldn't be bored.
I know, I did think about that if they could live together or travel together so we can have both of them, but my mom is total opposite of his dad. They are not
well, they say opposites attract.
Yeah, all right.
All right, what's up?
Okay, last one row. Yeah, finished here. Then somehow it's already 446. I did longer. I put the 2 circuits together with weights. So that was 8. Is your heavier weight? So start 7. Or
I did 7, 7.5, and then this is 8.
Update your 2025 schedule on my phone here. Oops, there you go. Rope row.
But we can get rid of the 7.5. We can go 7 to 8. And then maybe 8.5.
Okay, I'll write that. I know that one's easier.
As I don't cheat. Only on that big one.
Consist. All right, so tricep.
Tricep?
Yeah.
5
repetitions. I didn't get next time will be seated twist on the non-golf day though. So you get your core without your legs.
Yeah, I have way more energy on our non-golf days.
So got that, and then next week's
It's just about the weekend for you.
almost. No, tomorrow I've got a bunch of errands, so not much computer work in the afternoon.
Did you send your mom flowers?
I sent her a card.
It's like, God, you don't get us flowers?
My sister will. I was going to drive over there, but I can't figure out how to make it work with our leaving
Yeah,
town.
what you are, that you have a sister like you have, she takes all that responsibility off your shoulders.
Okay, I do it all the time. She comes twice a year. I'm always over there. So it evens out.
Didn't mean to strike a nerve there.
I will send flowers via her. It's just, or I still have to figure out if we can drive over for the day, but it's kind of a pain.
It's send flowers.
Okay, flowers.
It's a nice thing to do.
All right, flowers. My sister sent me flowers by Amazon one year. So it's been on Amazon.
Flowers, it's a thought that counts.
Yeah. Okay, we'll do. Okay, go have a good steak. Go sit outside, have a glass of wine on the lake.
I golf tomorrow, so tonight might not be a wine night.
Oh, no golf, no wine and golf nights. Never heard that before.
Sometimes they do, sometimes no.
Yeah, you,
Even
that's a
though
new one.
Linda did give me, she sent me this thing on this Chinese medicine cocktail that basically is a like a liver pre detox liver thing.
Oh,
So I gotta look into that.
let
That
me
would
know.
be great.
I always like
If I
liver
could-
detox because I always have liver congestion.
So I could take that, and then the theory is that it processes the alcohol as you drink it so that your body doesn't have to process it at night when you're sleeping.
Okay, so there's an ad. I just heard that same thing on a podcast. Ben Greenfield had. I'll find that. It's something, a new thing you take before you drink, is so you don't have to. Your liver doesn't metabolize it or something.
Yeah.
Okay, go back.
That to me would be absolutely lovely. Wouldn't help with the impact on the brain, but it would sure help with the,
I'll find that podcast. Free alcohol.
well, anyway, just a thought.
Okay,
Hey, have a great weekend.
you too. Have fun.
Always.
French.
Yeah, boss.
All right. So with the men versus women, I was trying to dive into the differences on exercise recommendations, if there are any, on creating new mitochondria. So here's what came up. Men, middle age, as I focus on 40 and older, they do have a, obviously everyone knows this, gradual decline in testosterone, DHEA. They have a more risk to gain fat gain around their belly and insulin resistance, typically higher muscle mass as women and more tolerance for intensity than us females. How should middle-aged men exercise to stimulate mitochondrial biogenesis? Well, again, the theme is test and not guess what you should do, because there's not one size fits all solutions for everybody. We want to know, where are your areas of opportunity? What's holding you back from being your best self? Which system of your body needs more work than the other? So when I go over these suggestions, it doesn't mean do this. It's not cut, paste, and do this program. It's a sample. So if men, I've heard this from Stacey Sims research, that men need more zone 2 cardio, and I did a video on this a few years ago, versus women. So men versus women are different. But again, I still believe, yes, we hear these gender differences, but if you're training a 10 already in zone 2, and this other person is doing all their work in zone 3 and doing a lot of high intensity exercise, they may be different recommendations, right? Male or female. It depends on where you are right now. What have you been doing, and what do we need to do more of so your body is in balance? So, example for mitochondrial biogenesis, remember, is creating new mitochondria. Zone 2, training at your peak fat max, not the top of zone 2, bottom of zone 3. That's going to be more carbohydrates than fat as the higher you go. So peak fat max, I can show you what that looks like soon. Now, training, resistance training, I for sure want everyone to be doing as they lift. What that exactly looks like for you is going to depend on where you're starting. And we want to build the foundation. So before you start building your house, you need to make sure you have the framing up, the electrical wiring system. Before that, you need the foundation laid out, poured out, whatever, and figure then I can go heavier. So we want to start at the base level, build up. So resistance training 2, 3, 4 times a week. Now, one time a week, maybe twice, you do interval training, and that's going to stimulate AMPK and help your VO2 max. So we can go over different workouts for that. AMPK is stimulated with the zone 2, but even more so with the interval training. And then morning fasted cardio, working in zone 1 to the bottom of zone 2 is your peak fat max to improve insulin sensitivity, mitochondria efficiency. Oh, lifestyle habits, sauna, cold plunge, heat, cold shock, protein stimulation, emphasize sleep, testosterone support, recovery. Those, remember, testosterone, you want to make sure your adrenals, you're managing that stress is a big part of low testosterone. And then CoQ10, magnesium, DHA, looking at what you need though. Don't just take that because it said that. So if you're a female, we have these estrogen, progesterone fluctuations, perimenopause to menopause. Remember, menopause is 1 day that you haven't had your cycle for 12 months. So I don't think that's 100% accurate. It's just, yes, 12 months. You're officially in menopause, of the definition of menopause, and the next day you're post-menopause. You have often increase in inflammation, mitochondria decline due to the loss of estrogen, and then greater cortisol sensitivity and stress-related mitochondria dysfunction. So I really believe this me screen test is going to be huge. Again, Dr. Patel, you get $100 off using my code. So ask me what it is. The test, I think it was $400. So huge savings with $100. I will share a video when I get my test results, because low estrogen, I have history of adrenal dysfunction or HPA axis, and my cortisol was really low in my adrenal exhaustion. And I got into learning about mitochondria from that journey because of the cell danger theory on how it's more the mitochondria are dysfunctional. and the body puts everything on hold. So we want to look at women, zone 2, less than men, 30, 45 minutes. This is great training at your peak fat max, not at your crossover point, but below that. Good for mitochondria hormone support. Resistance training, I would do more than your zone 2 training. Lifting, power moves help counteract estrogen related muscle loss. I've done lots of videos on that. And then lower volume than men on the short interval training, sprint interval training to make sure stress. Now, Stacy Sims always says women doing the zone 5 to zone 1 is not stressful. So stress is, I think if you're doing HIIT training more than a minute, Stacy Sims research for women without increasing cortisol and too much stress on your HPA axis system, which is your hypothalamic to pituitary gland to adrenal gland. It's the 20 to 30 to 45 seconds max. What most people do that causes too much stress is that they're doing the 4-minute pieces, 5-minute, or doing a F45 class or Orange Theory class that you're keeping your heart rate up the whole time, and you end up doing zone 3 and not doing interval training. So that's my argument to looking back what we did, the research of how the sprint interval training is 3 to 4 times 20 seconds all out sprints with 2 to 4 minutes. Now, when you're doing a class during intervals, you're not doing a 4-minute recovery. Same with high intensity, 4 to 6 intervals, 30 seconds all out, 3 to 4 minutes after recovery. So when you're doing a class that's interval training class, I guarantee you they're not giving you that much time in zone 1. And that's what you need to increase mitochondria. PGC1 is activated by the HIIT training, and that increases mitochondrial biogenesis when we stimulate PGC1 alpha and AMPK, which is back here on zone 2, triggers mitochondria biogenesis via AMPK pathway is when we're doing, for men better than women, fasted zone 1 cardio in the morning up to 45 minutes. And then you're doing eat if you're going longer, but that will help mitochondria. So we got the zone 2. Number 2 is the HIIT. Zone 3, sprint interval training, and then the strength training. Then men versus women. And lastly, the lifestyle add-ons, red light therapy. This way, I was researching this abdominal area. So I have a Flex Beam, and you have a discount code for that. They have a huge savings if you use my Flex Beam code. And then there's Kineon, but I like Flex Beam to lay over my belly. So this is a good way to get it right on your skin and have red light therapy for mitochondria health, and that helps with the gut. So I can put that in a slide, what it came up with, how that works. Magnesium, take Bio-Optimizers is my recommendation, or make sure you have magnesium blend and it has a B6 in it to help absorb. You want magnesium to get into the cell. PQQ and NAD plus. So I'm actually doing another podcast with True Niagen on Niagen and how that increases NAD plus. So they're precursors to boost NAD. So if you look at how mitochondria and the energy, how we create ATP, we need NAD multiple times. So again, we talked about key gender differences, a nice little chart. Men, lower testosterone. Women, of course, I've got low T and estrogen and progesterone. Training volume, men can tolerate higher intensity, and then women, we need more strategic intensity sprint interval training that doesn't cause excess stress, and we need more recovery. And recovery needs might be a little higher because we're more cortisol sensitive. So I feel that if I do a hard workout, I need 2 easy days. So not doing hard workouts. Stacey Sims did say in her program I took that you could do a hard evening workout and then do a morning hard workout. And then you have a day, maybe you'd have like a day and a half until you do another hard one, or 2 days. So more recovery, but you could do an evening, morning back to back. Cause I used to do, well, I did, I think twice, but track workout was Tuesday night. And then Wednesday morning was my spin class. I liked that was a power meter class, and we would do that. And it was, I felt energetic. It was just, later on. So it did make sense. And then we have mitochondrial decline. It's slower in women. We have more mitochondrial decline post-menopause. So what do you do about this decline in mitochondria? So we just taught you how to create new mitochondria. And then we want to get cell autophagy, get rid of the dead ones so we can make room for the new ones. So get rid of the dysfunctional cells. So with my analogy, I said another video, I like analogies. I think of it as my closet, and I want some new clothes. I'm tired of my dresses and the same stuff I'm wearing, my gray sweater. I want some new stuff, but I can't fit anything else into my closet until I get rid of some clothes that I'm not using or I don't like or that are worn out. So dysfunctional, unused clothing, get them out of the way, and that makes room for new ones. So we want to make sure we cell autophagy and biogenesis create new cells, mitochondria. Now, cold exposure post-workout, I've heard not to do post-strength workout. So you want your body to have that stress and rebuild on its own, then do it later. Cold in the morning versus at night. But then I was just listening to Ben Greenfield's podcast that he likes to do sauna and then cold afterwards in the evening, and it helps him sleep better. So again, there's so many different ways to do things. I think you just have to experiment, figure out what works best for you, because we're all so different, but unique. Now, creatine, PQQ, and CoQ10 supports the energy pathway. So when you are doing the strength, heavy weights, when you are doing sprint interval training, the fuel source is creatine phosphate. So not just for brain health and muscle health, but creatine, you want to create the energy for those sprint interval trainings, not just growing muscle. And then PQQ and CoQ10 are good supporting the mitochondria. And then strength and cardio, we want both. But training fasted, sometimes for women, we have to be careful, make sure you eat 12 hours before, and that you're doing just a zone 1 to the bottom of zone 2, your peak fat max training, no more than 45 minutes. That helps stimulate AMPK and fat oxidation. So metabolic dysfunction, what do you feel? Why the cells don't work? We need to figure that out. Looking at PNOE testing, we can identify, do you need zone 2? Do you need more sprint interval training? What are the benefits? So zone 2 is improving fat burn efficiency, enhanced cellular fitness, lower obesity risk. Doing the HIIT and the SIT intervals are increasing VO2 max, improve testosterone levels, and enhance lung function. But remember, you might think you're doing sprint interval training, but you're not probably doing 2 to 4 minute recovery in between those. And then helping reverse metabolic slowdown, improve recovery, maximize muscle development by getting the right type of strength and cardio. Then we look at your macros. Do you need fat, carb, protein adjustment, lower hunger, higher energy, more weight loss? Look at your calorie intake. Do we need to reverse metabolic slowdown, improve your metabolism as we age and your fat burning metabolism? And muscle growth, more muscle, more lean body mass, higher metabolism. And then breath work. That's really important part of this process. So we want to personalize your program. So to live longer, better quality life. And then we want to get the data and not guess where you are and retest every couple months and adjust. So we can figure out how many calories you need. Is your body burning more fat or carbohydrates at rest and during workouts? Is your fat burning fat max not a percentage of your VO2 max? We're actually looking at data where you're burning the most fat and where do you switch over? And what are your training zones and what's your VO2 peak? So we have all these different definitions we look at. And then what we can tell if you're overeating, undereating, if you're overtraining in one area more than the other. So where are your opportunities? So here's a sample. This yellow is your peak fat or where you're burning fat, and purple is your carbohydrate. So you can see this sample, the heart rate, exercise intensity, their heart rate would be down here. So their peak fat max happened. This is their warm up. This is the actual test that we gradually increase intensity every 1 to a few minutes, depending on the protocol. Their peak fat max is what Brad Kearns is talking about, is way down here. This person has been training way too much over this end. You can tell they're stable, lots of carbs, being efficient, and then they come down and I see a little fat there, but I can see they're not doing enough zone 2. So this is why we need to test and not guess. So we can figure out personalized programs, how many calories your body needs at rest, how many your body burns calories when you're exercising, and all that we went over. So I already said that. Here's another sample report. The person's fat is in the red in this upper graph. They're blue. So you can see this metabolic crossover point where the blue line comes higher than the red. That would be the top of zone 2, the metabolic crossover point. Where is the peak fat burning? Here. So this red line, this is the warm up. We haven't even started the test. And they're already shifting early to carbohydrate metabolism more than fat. So they kind of are back and forth right here. And maybe we have more of the crossover point. This is the range. But I would say, hey, you need to do more time, whatever this heart rate was. So you can see down here, their yellow is the fat, carbohydrates are purple, heart rate is this red line, is a steady climb. And so they were doing well up top here, and then their peak fat burning was low. So this is why we need to work at peak fat max and not use percentage of your VO2 max. That is so backwards way. And every time people say, I need to train at 60, 70% of my VO2 max based on this test. No, we just identify where are you burning your peak fat? Where is your crossover point where carbs come up higher? It might be down here if I zoomed in a little more, but I'm not going to use math. So this is science. We're testing based on your breath analysis, carbon dioxide out, oxygen in. So oxygen in, carbon dioxide out is respiratory exchange ratio. Remember that 0.7 respiratory exchange ratio is 70% fat or 70%. Yes, mostly fat. And then we get to 0.85, you're burning 50-50 fuel, fat and carbs. And when you're burning all carbohydrates and above, you're 1.0 and higher. So 0.70 is 100% fat, not 70%. So I'm recording this late in the day. I'm best in the morning, by the way. So fat metabolism issues, we can identify a lot. If you're metabolically flexible or inflexible, your RMR and your AMR, again, right? So one more test sample, yellow, here's this person's heart rate's going up and then they come down, but their fat burning efficiency is down here. So at least this person is a little bit better. They're in the actual test and they're still burning fat, and then their crossover point, we can identify where that blue line crosses over higher than the red. But we don't want to train here. We want to train at the peak fat max. So the bottom of their zone 2 might be like here. So we can look at VO2 max. VO2 peak is what they are telling us is all-cause mortality, a good sign for longevity. Why? It's measuring how well your body uses oxygen. We take it in, how much you can breathe in, and use it for heart, lungs, and blood, mitochondria to work together. So we can test this on the Pinoy metabolism test, or someone that does a metabolism test, but you can see age in the bottom of this chart, VO2 max. Red line is low fitness level, average is this middle line, high fitness is obviously up here. And you can see their VO2 max milliliters per kilogram per minute in age and years and how that equivalent of activity. So as we get older, think of the blue zones are people living in islands of Greece and living in Tuscany. Those people are climbing stairs, climbing hills when they're in the hilltop towns or islands that are hilly. So that's why I think people that are living longer, higher quality of life. Remember, I don't want to live long unless I'm healthy, that I'm cognitively healthy and my muscles are healthy. I'm able to be mobile and move around. And that's climbing stairs, getting up and down. I don't have to run, but I want to be able to move up and down stairs and not struggle, and walking and having good form and being able to lift my foot up and over the curb. So quality of life, the breath analysis, remember the oxygen and carbon dioxide calculates our calories, our fats, and carbohydrates we burn. And then we can measure the O2 to carbon dioxide, the ratio, and then there's the calculations here to figure out your percentage of fuel. And then with the VO2 max, we're going to get a little bit more data. And then lastly, just physically fitness, a good chart I found of sedentary, trained, healthy quality of life here and keeping your independence. So you want to start young, start at age 50 to improve your future self. So just think VO2 max is one of the strongest predictors of longevity and quality of life. VO2 max is one of the single most powerful marker for long-term health and performance, says Peter Attia. Enhances fat metabolism, insulin sensitivity, supports brain health, cognitive longevity, cardiovascular resilience, and energy, lifespan, health span. So think about the research. We can go over another time and all the studies, but I just want to end today on this segment of the how, why, is Vo2 Max important? So let me know your questions, comments, and feedback, and we'll finish the rest next time. Thanks for watching.